Hi guys, today we'll be continuing the first chapter of financial management for CA Inter, that is scope and objectives of financial management. This is the second part of the chapter 1 of financial management for CA Inter. But one disclaimer here, I would suggest all of you to study from the ICAI study material as well as practice from the study material, RTPs, mock test papers, past papers, etc. Don't just rely on these notes or any other notes or question answers. ICI is the main institute which will provide you, which will conduct your exams, and that is why I would suggest you all to study from their material only. So, continuing with the first chapter, we had completed the first 2 points in the chapter. So, now we'll be starting with evolution of financial management, finance functions or finance decisions, importance of financial management, and scope of financial management. These are relatively smaller topics, but important to understand that why we are studying financial management in our course. Starting with evolution of financial management. So this shows how the role of a finance manager has changed over the course of years. First, it was in traditional phase where only for big events like takeovers, mergers, expansion, liquidation, financial management was used. Then came the transitional phase where somewhat day-to-day problems were also looked by the finance managers. That included work like fund analysis, planning, control, etc. And now in the modern phase, financial management scope has become wider. It it is not just for big ticket events like takeovers or mergers, but it involves decision making for day-to-day events also. Many theories which are included now in financial management are like, for example, efficient markets, capital budgeting, option pricing, valuation models, etc. Valuation, we hear this term again and again in the news, that इस startup का valuation इतना है, ये unicorn है, or not in the news, then TV series like Shark Tank. So we in the coming course we'll understand what are the valuation terms or valuation concepts in our syllabus. But for now, we just have to understand the evolution of financial management, right from traditional phase, then transitional phase, and then modern phase. Now, coming back to why financial management is being taught to us. So, once you become a CA, there would be many decisions which you will have to take, and those decisions might include these points which we are going to study. So broadly, if you cover the finance decisions or finance functions, they can be broadly bifurcated into long-term and short-term finance decisions. Long-term can be further bifurcated to investment decisions, financing decisions, and dividend decisions. Investment decisions, matlab we select the assets in which the funds of the firm will be invested. Financing decisions is basically from where the firm will acquire the capital. And dividend decisions is the part which company might pay to their shareholders, which is basically cash out of the profits which the company has earned. Now coming to short-term finance decisions, it is more of involving the working capital management where you'll have to manage your current assets and the current liabilities. Now, you don't have to just understand this from a theory aspect. You assume yourself in the shoes of a CFO or a finance controller and then understand why these decisions will be important. So you are a CFO of a company, and the company is basically, the management is asking you, where can we use or invest our idle funds? So let's say you have 100 crores in your bank lying around. You will have to take a decision that do you want to invest this 100 crores in plant and machinery or in some liquid mutual fund, or maybe utilize it for other business expenses. Or you might also have an option if you feel that the return which your investment will yield is not a very effective yield for the company, you might declare, and you have ample profits, you might declare the amount as dividend to the shareholders. Another decision which gets involved in long-term finance decisions is financing decision. So let's say you are planning out a new business opportunity, and for that you are considering to divest some division of your company into a new company. So obviously the initial capital will be contributed by your company and you will incorporate a subsidiary. But now, since this is a new business altogether and you want a good volume of investment in the business, you and also you might also need some intellectual property from some other third party. So what you can do, you basically invite investments from the other company, saying that let's make this company as a JV kind of entity where basically I will have 50% of capital and other 50% capital you can contribute. Other than the capital, you can contribute your intellectual property rights and other things per se. Now, this financing decision will be majorly your call since you are the CFO of the company. Obviously, it will not be just your call, but you will have to drive the decision. The management is there, the board of directors would be there, but you will have to suggest, okay, let's make a special purpose vehicle or a subsidiary and let's bring new investors on board in that company and we'll do the business in that company. So you can relate this to practical scenarios in the market. So let's say Geo Financial Services, when Reliance started out, then it had basically started the company as Geo. It had invested in a already uh, incorporated company, Geo Infocom. Then it basically started the 4G, 5G ka business, telecom business in that. After that, they started uh, experimenting many other business types, including virtual reality. And then they brought in multiple investors during the COVID era in a separate company known as Geo Platforms, if I'm right. There they had got investments from Meta and other foreign investors. Meta, as in the Facebook company. So that financing decision would be a decision which the CFO and the other board members would have thought upon, and then they would have done the procedure. So this is long-term finance decision for you. Short term, as I said earlier, it will involve more of working capital management, where you will have to see that if you have X amount of current assets and Y amount of current liabilities, uh, do you have to take some decision to improve that? If you see that the debtors are lying for more than 6 months, 7 months, you will have to tell the accounts team or the business team to follow up for the collections from the debtors so that your current ratio will improve. Coming to the fifth part of the chapter, which is importance of financial management. This is basically what all things will get included in financial management practically. So financial management will include right from funding the investment, then planning where will you invest, monitoring the expenses against the budgets which you have set, managing whatever the gains you have got from the investments which you have done, and those kind of things. For example, there are some illustrative tasks which you will be doing as a finance manager in a company. So for this, I won't ask you to mug these points. You just have to understand the business and the financial reporting of the business. So right from P&L and बैलेंस शीट एंड कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट, ये तीन चीजों को मिला लो, आपको ऑटोमेटिकली इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट समझ में आ जाएगा. राइट फ्रॉम दी टॉप लाइन, आप पहले रेवेन्यू का टारगेट सेट करोगे. आप सोचोगे कि लास्ट ईयर मैंने 500 करोड़ का टर्नओवर किया था, अगर इंडस्ट्री 10% से मूव हो रही है तो 550 करोड़ का मेरा टर्नओवर तो ये साल होना ही चाहिए. दैट इज माय टारगेट. हो सकता है कि आप न्यू ब्रांचेस चालू करते हो और उसकी वजह से आप शायद 600, 650 या 1000 करोड़ का भी आप टारगेट सेट कर सकते हो. तो आप रेवेन्यू का टारगेट सेट करोगे, आप आपके एक्सपेंसेस को जितना कंट्रोल कर सकते हो करोगे. और रेवेन्यू हो गया, एक्सपेंस हो गया, उसके बाद क्या आएगा? अपना ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट. आप ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट इंप्रूव करने के लिए सोचोगे, तो आपने रेवेन्यू इंप्रूव कर दिया, एक्सपेंस कंट्रोल कर दिया, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट इंक्रीज हो जाएगा. प्रॉफिट हो गया, उसके बाद टैक्स प्लानिंग करनी पड़ेगी कि मैं कैसे प्लानिंग करूँ टैक्स की, कि मुझे कम से कम टैक्स में मेरा बिजनेस रन हो. मैं कैश फ्लो को बैलेंस करूंगा, मैं वर्किंग कैपिटल का सफिशिएंट रेशियो रखूंगा, मैं इंश्योर करूंगा कि मेरा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है फिक्स्ड एसेट्स में वो बहुत ज्यादा तो नहीं है. ऐसा तो नहीं कि मैं 100 कार्स का बिजनेस करता हूँ एनुअली और मैंने इन्वेस्टमेंट फिक्स्ड एसेट्स में इतना कर रखा है कि हर साल मैं 600-800 कार्स बना रहा हूँ, जबकि उतना सेल नहीं हो पाएगा मेरा. तो अननेसेसरीली फिक्स्ड एसेट्स और इन्वेंट्री में पैसा रोके रहना भी सेंसिबल बात नहीं है. तो ये ब्रॉडली 5-6 टास्क थे जो जनरली फाइनेंस मैनेजर ध्यान रखेगा. वही अपने इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट पॉइंट्स आएंगे. नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज स्कोप ऑफ फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट. सो फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट का स्कोप कहाँ तक डिटरमाइन हो सकता है वो हम लोग अंडरस्टैंड करने का ट्राई करेंगे. सो यूएस के एक इकोनॉमिस्ट थे, एजरा सोलोमन. उनने बताया कि फॉलोइंग एस्पेक्ट्स जो है वो फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट में कंसिडर करे जा सकते हैं. तो फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट आप जब भी आप आपकी कंपनी के लिए सोच रहे हो तो यू विल थिंक अबाउट हाउ बिग इज योर कंपनी, what is your growth target. Let's say if I am a smaller company and my growth target is growing 18% annually, then my financial management will be different from a blue chip company which might grow at 5 or 6% annually because it has already grown to a greater volume. Second point would be the composition of assets of the enterprise. So companies like Ola, they are called as asset light business model, where they don't actually own the financial assets or plant and machinery, to be precise, like the motor cars uh, in the business. They are basically in service industry, and that is why the current assets might be more than the fixed assets in that. But if I'm a manufacturing company, then my composition of assets would be different. Third is determining the mix of enterprises financing. Matlab, I would determine how much I am investing as a shareholder in the company, that is equity, and how much I am borrowing from the outside lenders, that is debt or loans. Fourth point is analysis, planning, and control of financial affairs of the enterprise. So I would basically analyze whatever we have done in the past, plan for the future, and try to control the present expenses. So here, let's say you are a financial controller. आपने सीए कर ली, आपने कुछ साल जॉब कर लिया, चाहे बिग फोर में जॉब कर लिया या इंडस्ट्री में जॉब कर लिया, कहीं मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग आप कुछ साल के लिए रहे, फिर आप फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर कहीं पे अपॉइंट हो गए. फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर अपॉइंट होने के बाद आपको क्या क्या डिसीजंस में इन्वॉल्व होना पड़ता है, उसके कुछ इलस्ट्रेटिव एग्जांपल्स हैं. सो पहले तो अपने तीन जो हमने पहले पढ़े लॉन्ग टर्म वाले वो आ जाएंगे. दैट इज इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन, डिविडेंड डिसीजन एंड फाइनेंसिंग डिसीजन. ये तीन तो आपको एज अ फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. इसके बाद आपको एक ट्रेड ऑफ देखना पड़ेगा. बेसिकली अगर मैं 18% रिटर्न के सामने एक्स अमाउंट का रिस्क ले रहा हूं, और समझो अगर मैं थोड़ा रिस्क लेके मेरे रिटर्न को डबल कर सकता हूं, ये ट्रेड ऑफ अगर मैं कैलकुलेट कर लेता हूं और उसके बाद मुझे लगता है कि रिस्कियर ऑप्शन जिसके वजह से मुझे रिटर्न काफी ज्यादा अच्छा मिल रहा है, तो फिर मैं वो ऑप्शन को ऑप्ट करूँ। देन इट इज मैक्सिमाइजेशन ऑफ शेयर वैल्यू। बेसिकली मैं ऐसे डिसीजंस लूंगा जिसके वजह से मेरे शेयर की वैल्यू डे बाय डे ग्रो। ऑब्वियसली एवरी फाइनेंस कंट्रोलर विल थिंक ऑफ दिस प्राइमरीली। ऐसा नहीं हो कि ऐसे डिसीजंस नहीं लेने कि जिसके वजह से बिजनेस को लॉस हो या शेयर वैल्यू गिरते जाए। ऑब्वियसली आपको ऐसे डिसीजंस लेने हैं जिसके वजह से आपके शेयर की वैल्यू दिन ब दिन बढ़ते जाए, और जो जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स है, ना ना कहीं नॉट ओनली ऑफ द शेयर होल्डर्स बट इवन ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज, बोर्ड, गवर्नमेंट, अदर स्टेक होल्डर्स ऑल्सो, सबको ध्यान में रख के मुझे डिसीजंस लेने हों। तो आई होप ये पार्ट्स आपको अभी तक समझ में आए होंगे। अगर कुछ भी आपको डाउट है, कोई चीज नहीं समझ में आ रही है, तो प्लीज आप कमेंट करिए। अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया तो प्लीज एक लाइक ठोक दीजिए, और प्लीज 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 ये वीडियोस शेयर कीजिए। आप जितना शेयर करोगे उतना मोटिवेशन रहेगा आगे और वीडियोस बनाने का। थैंक यू।